starting over? Or
We're rolling.
Am I picking up where I left off?
I would delete the other video.
So,
You can go to recently deleted and recover it though.
No, that's okay. Okay, welcome Angela and Toby. We're going to try this again and see how quickly I can get through this. We have these words in John 10. Jesus went away again across the Jordan to the place where John had been baptizing at first, and there he remained. And many came to him, and they said, John did no sign, but everything that John said about this man, about Jesus, was true, and many believed in him there. So it says here that he's in Perea, but what does the text tell us? Does it use the word Perea? No, it doesn't. It just says on the other side of the Jordan, which is the side across from Israel. It may have been Perea. There's where John was baptizing is disputed. It may have been Bethsaida, which was just north of there. But that really doesn't matter exactly where it was. What we do know is that it was on the other side of the Jordan, and many came to him there. These people knew of John. We don't know that they were disciples of John. Possibly they were. But they did know that everything that John said about Jesus was true. And many came to believe, which is significant on a number of levels. One is they were possibly Jews, but they were more likely Gentiles. And here is Jesus speaking to Gentiles. Here is Jesus offering the gospel to Gentiles. Would have been unheard of to the Jews. In fact, I told you that this morning I was reading Acts 22, and all of the Jews were listening intently to Paul and his testimony and all of that. And then the last thing he says before they go berserk, quite literally, is that, and he said, and the gospel has spread even among the Gentiles through me. And they just go nuts. They're throwing dust in the air. They're screaming at him. They're tearing their clothing, because what he has just said is unthinkable. That God's word would go to the Gentiles. And yet here's Jesus ministering among the Gentiles. And this same Jesus that would say, as we mentioned earlier, that go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So we see this this work is being done even on the other side of the Jordan. So this is the fruit of John's ministry. John ministered among these people, and they're looking back on that and going, he told us about this guy, and everything he said is true. John was constantly pointing to Jesus and saying, there's one greater than me. He is the one whose sandal I am not worthy to untie. I'm not even worthy to take his feet off, take his shoes, his sandals off, which is something that a slave would do. And he said, I'm not even worthy to be his slave. I hope he wouldn't take his feet off. That wouldn't be good. So what can we learn from this? What can we learn? Because John never lived to see this, right? He was martyred early on, but he never lived to see what happened on the other side of the Jordan. So how can we apply this to our lives? Well, first of all, so these are lessons for us. This is true for us too, that we must sow and cultivate the seed, but God gives the increase. God has a ministry for each of us, whether that's a lay ministry, whether that's teaching children at your church, or going on a mission trip, or whatever it is, or whether it's your livelihood. My livelihood is to teach the Bible to a group of 107 students right now in Bellevue, Nebraska. But it's also my calling. It's also what God has given me for a ministry. And we are to be faithful in that. We are to be sowing seeds and cultivating the ground and watering the seeds. But it's God who causes the harvest to take place, the spiritual harvest to take place. And just like John, we may never live to see the results of our labor. We may never live to see the eternal impact that was made. It is a privilege beyond that I could describe to you to plant seeds and to water seeds and spiritual seeds in your lives. And I may be long gone before You know, some of you are ministering or doing whatever it is God called you to do. Feel free to come to the nursing home and tell me what you're doing. I would love that. But I may never live to see what some of you end up becoming for Christ. But that doesn't change the fact that I am to be watering, I am to be planting, I am to be faithfully doing the ministry God has called me to. He's responsible for the harvest, not me. So that is what is happening here. Now, we're going to stop there. We're going to pick up in Bethany and Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. So that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow, Angela, and Tony.